So earlier, we said that one of the important functions of a computer is to store data so it can process it. Well, the only data that we've talked about so far are strings. Okay, it's text data. Okay, um, but we also have other types of data that we want um, Java to be able to act on. And in Java, the uh, four primitive data types that we'll be dealing with are these four right here: int, which is an integer; double, which is a floating point number, basically a decimal number; boolean, which is either true or false; and a char, which is short for character, which is just individual text characters. I know Boolean seems like a weird name. It's named after George Boole. He was one of the big pioneers of what we now call Boolean algebra, which is like the math of true and false. One tiny thing I want you to notice before we kind of dig in here, I want you to notice that the word string here is capitalized, whereas all of these abbreviations here are not. That's because strings are not considered a primitive data type. They're considered an object. We're going to talk a whole lot about objects, but not today. But you need to know that strings are objects, but ints, doubles, booleans, and chars are all primitive data types. Okay. Now we can print any of those data types, including strings. I can print an integer. I can print a double. You'll notice they don't have quotes because if I put quotes around it, it thinks, well, oh, you don't want the integer -3. You want the string -3, which is a little bit different. So ints, doubles, booleans, none of those have quotes. Chars have single quotes rather than double quotes. Okay, but all of these should print just fine. Okay, but when I put double quotes around it, you'll notice these all turn red. So those would be strings with double quotes around them. And we're going to be using these data types for different things. As you can imagine, ints and doubles are going to be useful when we're doing math. Boolean are going to be useful whenever we decide, well, if this is true, then do this. And if it's not true, then do this. So that's when we're going to really use Booleans. And chars are going to come into play when we start trying to really kind of dissect our text.